My girlfriend asked for a break because she didn't find me attractive and our love was fading. I am 33M. I need to vent about something that has been eating me up inside. My girlfriend Brooke, 32F, and I had been dating. She just confessed to me that during our break, she slept with an old friend, Connor, 34M. Our story began in May 2022. I met Brooke at a local cafe where she worked part-time while pursuing her master's in psychology. I was actually there meeting a client. I work as a software developer and occasionally meet clients outside the office. I noticed her first because of her warm smile as she took orders. Later that evening, I found out she was friends with my coworker Jake, who introduced us properly at a group dinner the following week. From the start, we clicked. Brooke had this way of making everyone around her feel comfortable. She was pursuing her master's while working part-time, which showed her dedication. We discovered we both loved hiking, trying new restaurants, and had similar taste in music. Our first date was at a small Italian restaurant where we talked for hours about everything from our childhood dreams to our biggest fears. Things progressed naturally from there. We started spending most of our free time together. I introduced her to my family after 3 months of dating. My mom immediately loved her, saying she had a good heart. My sister Sarah, 29F, and Brooke became particularly close, often going shopping or having coffee together, even without me. Brooke's family welcomed me too. Her mom treated me like a son, always inviting me for Sunday dinners and sending me home with leftovers. Her dad, though quiet, would always ask my opinion about his woodworking projects. By December 2022, we were practically living together. She stayed at my place most nights, had her own drawer in my dresser and her favorite coffee mug in my kitchen cabinet. We talked about moving in together officially by the end of 2023. I even started looking at rings, thinking about proposing around Christmas this year. But things started changing in March 2023. Brooke became distant. She stopped staying over as much, saying she needed to focus on her thesis. I understood and gave her space, but something felt off. She stopped sharing little details about her day, which had been our thing. We used to text each other funny moments or random thoughts throughout the day, but that slowly stopped. Then came that evening in April 2023. We had just finished dinner at her favorite Thai place. She was unusually quiet during the meal, barely touching her pad thai. Back at my apartment, she sat me down and said she needed to talk. She wasn't feeling a connection anymore. She said she didn't find me attractive and needed space to figure things out. It felt like someone had punched me in the gut. All our plans, all our moments together they meant nothing, but I respected her decision. I gave her the space she wanted. I focused on myself, threw myself into work, started going to the gym more regularly. I spent more time with friends I had somewhat neglected during our relationship. Jake, my co-worker who introduced us, was particularly supportive during this time. Months passed. Life went on. Then, in September 2023, Brooke reached out. She wanted to meet and talk over coffee. She said she had sorted out her feelings and wanted to give us another chance. She missed us. She said she missed our life together. Like a fool, I was overjoyed. I thought we could rebuild what we had. Things seemed better than ever for a while. We were more appreciative of each other, more intentional with our time together. I started looking at rings again. Found a beautiful sapphire one because she once mentioned she preferred colored stones to diamonds. Then last week, everything fell apart. We were having dinner at my place when she suddenly became quiet. Like that night in April. She said she needed to tell me something. During our break, her old college friend Connor had asked to hang out. One thing led to another, and they slept together. What hurt most wasn't just the act itself, but her attitude about it. She insisted I shouldn't feel hurt because we weren't officially dating during that time. According to her, anything that happened before September 2023 shouldn't count. She said it was just physical, that it wasn't planned. They had unprotected sex because of that. Like an idiot, I asked if he was better than me in bed. She said just like that. No hesitation, no attempt to spare my feelings. Just a simple yes that shattered whatever was left of my heart. Now I'm sitting here in my apartment, the sapphire ring hidden in my drawer, wondering what to do. I can't eat, can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see them together. The woman I loved, who I thought would be my future, was intimate with someone else and had the audacity to tell me it was better. This feels like a complete betrayal. Yes, technically, we were on a break, but she's the one who asked for it. She's the one who said she needed space only to sleep with someone else. And now she expects me to be okay with it, to just move past it like it never happened. I need advice. I feel lost and broken. Am I overreacting? Should I try to work through this? Or should I walk away? My head tells me to leave, but my heart still loves her. I'm torn between what I know I should do and what I want to do. Update 1: A lot has happened since my last post, and none of it is what I expected. The past few weeks have been a roller coaster of emotions, but I'll try to explain everything that happened. After Brooke's confession about Connor, I spent days just going through the motions. I'd wake up, go to work, come home and stare at the walls. My apartment felt different. Every corner held a memory of her. The coffee mug she always used still sat in my kitchen cabinet. Her favorite blanket was still draped over my couch. Even my Netflix recommendations were full of shows we used to watch together. I didn't tell anyone. At first, I felt embarrassed, stupid, even. Jake, my coworker who had introduced us, noticed something was wrong. He kept inviting me for lunch, but I made excuses. My sister Sarah called several times, but I let it go to voicemail. I just couldn't handle people's sympathy or advice. Then, about a week after my last post, Brooke asked to meet. I agreed, thinking maybe we could work things out. We met at a neutral place, the park where we used to walk on weekends. As soon as I saw her face, I knew something was wrong. She looked nervous, different from her usual confident self. She dropped the bomb without much preparation. She had been thinking about everything and decided she wanted to give Connor a chance. According to her, during their time together, they connected on a deeper level. Her exact words: she said she felt something with him that she had never felt before, not even with me. She said she owed it to herself to explore that connection. I just sat there listening to her destroy every good memory we had ever made. She was choosing him. The guy she claimed was just a one-time thing, just physical. All those months of our relationship, our plans, our future. She was throwing it all away for someone she slept with during our break. The next few weeks were hell. I threw myself into work, staying at the office until late just to avoid going home. My apartment felt like a museum of our relationship. Everything reminded me of her. One night, after too many beers, I boxed up all her stuff and shoved it in my closet. I couldn't look at it anymore. My sister finally broke down my defenses. She came to my apartment one evening with takeout and wouldn't leave until I talked. I told her everything. About the break, about Connor, about how Brooke had left me for him. Sarah was furious. She had considered Brooke a friend, and now she felt betrayed too. Then something unexpected happened. On a particularly bad day, I decided to work from a coffee shop near my office. My apartment was suffocating me. I was sitting there, probably looking as miserable as I felt, when someone accidentally spilled their coffee all over my laptop. That someone was Clara, 31F. She was mortified. She kept apologizing and insisted on buying me a new coffee and helping me clean up my laptop. We ended up talking for hours. Clara worked in publishing, had just moved to the city 6 months ago, and had her own story of heartbreak. There was something refreshing about her. She didn't try to fix my problems or offer advice. She just listened. We started hanging out regularly after that, just as friends. We both made that clear. She was dealing with her own past relationship issues and wasn't ready for anything more. We'd get coffee, watch movies, or just walk around the city talking about nothing and everything. Claire became my best friend over those 3 months. She was there when I finally gathered the courage to pack away all of Brooke's things properly. She helped me sell the engagement ring, telling me it was better than letting it sit in my drawer like a painful reminder. She even helped me rearrange my apartment, saying a change might help create new memories. But just when I was finally starting to feel like myself again, Brooke called. This was 2 days ago. She was crying, saying she had made a huge mistake. Apparently, things with Connor didn't work out. He wasn't ready for a serious relationship, she said. She told me she had realized I was the one she truly loved and wanted another chance. Since then, she's been calling constantly. When I don't pick up, she leaves voicemails, long, tearful messages about how sorry she is and how she knows she messed up. She's texted mutual friends, reached out to my sister, even emailed my work address. She's everywhere, trying to force her way back into my life. Clara thinks I should block Brooke's number and move on completely. She says Brooke only wants me back because things didn't work out with Connor. And she's probably right, but it's hard to completely cut off someone who was such a big part of your life. Still, I haven't responded to any of Brooke's attempts to contact me. I'm finally in a better place, and I don't want to go backward. Update 2. I didn't expect to be updating so soon, but something happened yesterday that changed everything. Brooke showed up at my apartment unannounced. Clara was over. We were making dinner and watching movies, something that had become our Friday night routine. We were in the middle of preparing pasta when my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, but when I looked through the peephole, I saw Brooke standing there. She looked different, thinner, paler, but dressed up, like she was going somewhere special. Before I could decide whether to open the door, she started knocking again, louder this time. When I opened the door, she pushed past me into my apartment. The smell of cooking and the sound of music from the kitchen stopped her in her tracks. When she saw Clara in my kitchen wearing an apron and stirring pasta sauce, her face changed. The apologetic look she had walked in with transformed into pure anger. She started yelling, her voice shaking. "Who is she? What is she doing in your apartment?" In our kitchen, the R part hit me hard. She still thought of this as her space, even after everything. Clara, being the composed person she is, wiped her hands on her apron and calmly introduced herself as my friend. But Brooke wasn't interested in introductions. She turned to me, tears streaming down her face, accusing me of moving on so quickly, of replacing her. I found it ironic coming from someone who had left me for another man just months ago. That's when I realized what this was really about. Through our mutual friends, Brooke had heard about me spending time with someone new. She wasn't back because she wanted me. She was back because she was jealous. The thought of me moving on, even though Clara and I were just friends, had pushed her to act. The situation escalated when Brooke started insulting Clara. She called her names, accused her of being a homewrecker, of plotting to steal me away all along. Clara remained calm throughout this tirade, but I could see her hands shaking slightly as she gripped the kitchen counter. For the first time since this whole mess began, I felt genuine anger towards Brooke. Not the hurt kind of anger I'd felt when she confessed about Connor, but real, burning anger. I stepped between her and Clara and told her exactly what I thought. I reminded her how she was the one who said she didn't find me attractive, how she needed space, then slept with Connor, came back to me without telling me about it, and then left again when Connor showed interest. I told her how she had left me broken. And while she was off exploring her connection with Connor, Clara had been here, helping me pick up the pieces. Brooke tried to interrupt, saying Connor was a mistake. She claimed seeing me with someone else made her realize what she had lost. But I wasn't interested in her excuses anymore. I told her that while she was busy choosing Connor over me, Clara had chosen to be there for me. Through my darkest days, she had earned her place in my life while Brooke had thrown away hers. When I finally told Brooke to leave and never contact me again, she refused. She threatened to make a scene, said she would tell everyone that Claire and I had been seeing each other behind her back. I calmly informed her that if she didn't leave immediately, I would call the police. Something in my voice must have convinced her I was serious, because she finally left, but not before saying this wasn't over. After she left, Clara hugged me and told me she was proud of how I handled the situation. We ended up ordering pizza instead of finishing our pasta and spent the evening talking about everything that had happened. Clara admitted she had been scared when Brooke started yelling, but she hadn't wanted to escalate the situation. My sister called later that night. Apparently, Brooke had already started spreading rumors about Claire and me on social media. Sarah promised to help set the record straight with our mutual friends. She said she was glad I had finally stood up to Brooke and that she had never liked how I gave Brooke so many chances. Update 3: A lot has happened since my last update, and I think this will be my final one. After Brooke's dramatic visit, things got worse before they got better. She didn't take my rejection well at all. Brooke started a full-blown campaign to discredit me and Clara. She created multiple social media accounts. When I blocked her old ones, she texted me from different numbers, sometimes pretending to be other people. But what really crossed the line was when she started spreading rumors among our mutual friends. She told everyone that Claire and I had been seeing each other secretly even before our break, and that's why she had needed space. She claimed she had found messages between us from early 2023, and that's what had pushed her into Connor's arms. Some friends actually believed her. People I had known for years started giving me cold shoulders or sending accusatory messages. Even Jake, my coworker who had introduced me to Brooke, started acting differently at work. He made comments about how he felt guilty for introducing us if I was just going to cheat on her. That was my breaking point. I decided enough was enough. I gathered all our text messages. The ones where she admitted to sleeping with Connor, the September texts where she clearly stated she had just started feeling something for him during our break, and most importantly, the recent ones where she begged me to take her back after things with Connor didn't work out. I made a detailed timeline, added screenshots, and sent it to our mutual friends. The response was immediate. Most of them apologized for believing Brooke. Jake came to my office first thing the next morning and apologized profusely. My sister, who had been somewhat neutral throughout this whole thing, trying to maintain some peace, finally saw Brooke's true colors and cut all contact with her. This seemed to be the wake-up call Brooke needed. Last week, I received a long email from her. She admitted to lying about Clara because she was jealous and hurt. She said seeing me happy with someone else, even just as friends, made her realize what she had thrown away. She ended the email saying she would respect my wishes and stop contacting me. As for Clara and me, we're still just friends. She's been an incredible support through all of this, but we both agree that friendship is what we need right now. Maybe something will develop in the future, maybe not. For now, I'm focusing on myself and healing. I've changed my number, moved to a new apartment in a different part of the city, and started a new chapter of my life. My sister helped me move, and Clara organized a small housewarming party with my real friends, the ones who stood by me through everything. I've learned a lot from this experience. Sometimes the people we trust the most can hurt us the deepest, but that doesn't mean we should stop trusting altogether. It just means we need to be more careful about who we let into our lives. The sapphire ring that I had bought for Brooke, I sold it and used the money to fund a solo trip I'm planning for next month. Clara suggested I should do something for myself, and she was right. To everyone who supported me through these updates, thank you. Your advice and kind words helped more than you know. This chapter of my life is finally closed, and I'm ready to write a new one.